Welcome to This Week in Colorado Soccer, another home edition. We have a special guest today, Jordan Angeli. Jordan, welcome to the big show.
Thanks for having me, Danny. I
Well, a little
appreciate
bit
it.
for our fans out there, a little bit of Jordan's background. Obviously, she's a Colorado native. She's in Colorado right now. Green Mountain High School superstar, Colorado Rush superstar, won a national championship way back in the U15 days. We won't say what year that was, but it was about 19 years ago.
Good
Obviously,
trick.
went on to have a great career at Santa Clara while she's at Santa Clara. Played in the U20 Women's World Cup as well. Eventually, after she graduated, was drafted in the old WPS with the Boston Breakers and legendary coach Tony Chico. Eventually moved on to Washington Spirit and the Western New York Flash and the NWSL. But the thing we really want to touch on, because everybody knows that about you, Jordan, is talk a little bit about the ACL Club that you started, kind of its mission. And my first experience with it was you would be at CU working games and you would just bring it out, and one of our players would get hurt, and you say if they need any help, if they have contact me, I've kind of started this ACL Club, and I was like, what is that? So I had to kind of look it up. But why don't you
Yeah,
talk to our fans at home kind of what the mission of the ACL Club is?
of course. And Danny, that's kind of where it all originated is when I was going through my ACL injuries. I had 3 ACL injuries on my left knee. I would get calls from former coaches or former teammates who knew somebody that had torn their ACL and they just wanted somebody to talk to who understood what they were going through, especially on the mental side, right? As athletes, we can get through the physical. We've done that our whole lives, but the mental side was really a challenge. And so I started talking to these people and I realized their questions and their concerns were the same things that I had. And so I felt like there was an opportunity for me to start something that was bigger than just those one conversation. So I started the ACL Club. It's a company to help support, empower, and inspire athletes as they're going through the mental side of ACL recovery, because there's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. And I'm just trying to provide them with some good techniques and some good foundations as which to cope with that kind of, with the mental side.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's you go to your website ACL Club, and it's just a lot of great information on there, and it's obviously a great kind of thing that you put together, and I've been following it for years now. Why don't you talk a little bit about kind of your progression from retired, limping around soccer player to now your position? So I'll talk a little bit about it. Like I said, my first experience was you coming in really do Pac-12 network games, and I remember always going to you, going, what's the step? What's the progression? How do you get to where you want to get to? And obviously you started working with Colorado Rapids in studio and sideline
Mhm.
and radio. And then we'll save the big surprise of kind of where you're at now. But how were those first steps kind of getting into the TV analyst kind of stuff?
It was not easy. I would say it was easy in the sense that I knew that that was something I wanted to do. There used to be a TV show here or a station here in Colorado called CSPN, and it was all Colorado sports, all youth sports. And so I ended up calling them up and I said, hey, I am a former pro. I was recovering from a knee injury and I knew I wanted to get into broadcasting. And I asked them if I could call some high school girls soccer games. And so the first game, after I did the first game, it was a 3-man booth. And I called my dad on the way back from Colorado Springs and I said, I figured out what I want to do next. And I was still in the pursuit of going back to play, but I felt like being a broadcaster actually allowed me to fit this experience that I had both on the field, but also off the field, Danny. All these injuries, I was always watching the game. I was talking to the coaches and my teammates in a different way. And I was already analyzing games, even though I wasn't an analyst yet. And so from there, I remember emailing you. I remember emailing DU and saying, hey, I know you guys have web streams. Can I be a part of your web streams? And so it kind of just was like our athletic career is. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of persistence. I heard no a lot, but I fortunately just kept going, and it led me to call some Pac-12 games and to get to call a lot of your guys' games up there at CU, which is so much fun. And when I was with the Colorado Rapids, I was pushing every year saying, I want to be on TV. I want to be on TV. I was in the TV booth or as a part of the production for college games, Pac-12, SEC network, even some Big Ten games. But I wasn't able to make that push in MLS, and I just kept fighting for it and realizing that it had a lot of parallels to my playing career, that I wanted to continue to pursue growth in this career. And I knew that every year I might get a little bit closer until finally this year, I feel like I broke through a little bit, and I just accepted a job back in February with the Columbus Crew as their TV analyst. So I moved out to Columbus right before this, and now I'm back in Colorado quarantining with my family, but really excited to take that job and to be a part of such an historic club.
Yeah, and you know, in the first full-time female analyst with the Columbus Crew, which is super exciting. You know, I caught your guys' first game before everything shut down. And I think the thing for us as kind of soccer fans and soccer coaches is your preparation. Whether you were doing NWSL games, I think they were on like Yahoo a year or two ago, or whether it was even your preparation when you come to work to CU, you knew all the players, you knew their tendencies, you knew what it was all about. And, you know, I was always kind of like, you know, because it's something that, you know, everyone thinks they can do it. You know, I did a game way back in the day when I was actually at Metro State for CU for Comcast Portland. And it was a disaster. I kept saying, I'm not very smart, but so everybody's giving me grief while I was doing it, but it's not easy. And to have an opportunity to work full time with, like you said, a legendary club like the Columbus Crew, one of the original clubs in MLS. So hopefully we'll get back out there soon. But obviously we have more excitement. We finally have, and I'm sure you'll be up bright and early tomorrow. We finally have Bundesliga soccer live tomorrow morning. So everybody's going through withdrawals, but kind of how are you feeling this time right now that is a little bit slow time? What do you have going on right now?
I've been doing a lot. I feel like it hasn't slowed down at all, because when games stopped, content went up through the ceiling. Everybody was like, we need to produce content. So I've been doing some stuff with Columbus Crew. It's called The Breakdown. So I'm taking specific plays, really 10, 15 seconds of a game, and breaking it down further, Danny. It's like this player doing this right in order for this all to happen, right? We know how that works, how the little things all add up. So I'm breaking it down for the fans back in Columbus. So that's been really fun. And then I'm doing a podcast for US Soccer, which has been cool. Kate Markgraf, Brian McBride, those were our first two interviews. So that's been a fun challenge and something really cool. Yeah, to talk to Brian McBride, not only a Crew legend, but US men's national team legend. That's been really great. And I pitched a show to NWSL with a friend of mine, Jeff Kassouf and Lori Lindsay, and we're doing a weekly NWSL show. So that's Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm kind of hosting / producing, using all that we can use now on the internets to produce a show from home. So that's been a fun experience. I'm getting to know what that's really like, what Eric does on a daily basis. So
yeah, that's awesome. And then obviously we're still kind of coming off the high of the Women's World Cup last year. Talk a little bit about your experience with that.
Oh my goodness. I fell into the best job ever. I'd been working with US Soccer as a host for a couple years, and they brought me to France for the entirety of the World Cup, and I got to follow around the US women's national team and show what it was like to be a fan in France. I had the best job. I got to hang out with all these people who love the US women's national team and sit with the families as they saw their daughters score their first ever World Cup goal and celebrate those moments with them, and celebrate with the team, who a lot of them are friends of mine after they took home the World Cup back last summer. So it was incredible. I mean, if you ever told me as I would have been working on a float in the ticker tape parade, I would have said, probably not, but there I was last summer doing that. So it was a great experience, and couldn't be more proud of just what those women accomplished.
And really the highlight of that time was seeing myself and our staff and the women's soccer team before the USA-Thailand match. I know you're busy, so I'm sure you remembered that. But hey, Jordan, we're running out of time. It was great having you on. Really appreciate the time. Good luck. And we look forward to seeing you back in Columbus soon. Everyone at home, once again, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and at cubuffs.com. Have a great weekend.